Burn a flick.
Flick, flick. Flick, flick, flick.
Burn a flick.
Flick,
Burn a flick.
flick, flick.
Burn a flick.
Flick, flick, flick. Flick,
Burn a flick.
flick. Flick, flick, flick.
Hey everybody, welcome to Burn a Flick. We are Burn a Flick. It's Eugene, which is me, Jonah and Zach.
Hello.
Hello.
And today, the movie that we're talking about is The Green Knight. The Green Knight is an Arthurian tale, I think. Well, I wasn't sure what it was when I first picked it. I later learned that it's like a whole Arthurian, like old, really, really old tale. I picked this because a couple podcasters that I listened to said that this movie was snubbed for the Oscars. And maybe that's a good jumping off point. Do you guys think this movie was snubbed by not getting a mention?
I think it was snubbed for not even getting some sort of nomination,
Mm-hmm.
but comparatively to other things, I don't think it was snubbed for a win, to be honest.
Okay.
Personally, my personal
Alright.
belief. I thought it was, we're going to get to that eventually. I thought it
Yeah.
was really good. Don't get me wrong, but, other movies, there are reasons why other movies get picked,
Mhm.
but we'll get to that, I guess.
I'd have to agree.
We could go with those reasons. Yeah.
I think nomination would be cool. I think they deserve at least a nomination for several categories.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about a nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
that's
sort of recognition.
I
The
think-
win would
Yeah.
definitely be debatable.
Yes, agreed. Like I
Yeah.
think it
Do
definitely
we
is
want to talk about the win for this? Have you guys seen the winner for this year?
for which category?
Best picture.
Coda.
Best picture, Coda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been looking to see this movie, so I wish I could. Have you seen it? I haven't seen
Yeah,
it yet.
I've seen it.
I hear it's really good. I hear
It's
actually really
it's
good.
good. It's a very effective feel good movie. But it kind of has like, well, I mean, I liked it. When I first saw it, I didn't know that it was like nominated.
Mhm.
I just saw it, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that was nice. And then when I heard that I got nominated, I was like, oh wow, okay. Be very surprised if it wins, and lo and behold, it wins. I think like Coda was like a very safe pick. It like kind of hit certain like
Wickets.
notes, yes,
Mhm.
very well.
Nice. it.
I don't think it was that great.
I haven't seen it, and I want to
Yeah.
be the guy who
No,
says.
it's good.
but
Maybe
I like how you say
maybe
it's
maybe somewhere down the line we could talk about Coda.
yeah.
Far down the line,
I think it's funny how you say it's a safe pick.
it is a
Well,
safe
I
pick,
feel like
yeah.
I feel like
No
if
one's-
you're, if
no
you're
one's
nominating an
mad.
Oscar, you shouldn't go for the safe thing. You should go
no
for
one's
the one
mad
thing that
about
matters.
Coda winning.
Wait, I think the Oscars are flawed in many ways, and
Like the whole 40-year-old thing.
yeah.
That's a really interesting discussion because I agree. The Oscars are very flawed. But at the same time, no one can resist talking about the Oscars. No one can resist commenting about it or like putting their 2 cents in about it.
Yeah.
It's for whatever reason, good or bad, it has somehow taken center stage of like, I guess, cinema discussion among most like regular people. Good or bad, who knows? Anyway, yeah. So, Green Knight. Let's go back to Green Knight.
Yeah.
So, in the original tale of this story is like super weird, and like this movie is weird too. But this basically what happens is it's like King Arthur's court, and like they're celebrating in the movie. I believe it's Christmas. In the actual tale,
Mhm.
it's New Year's, and they're celebrating, and this like knight in green armor shows up, and he starts like mocking everybody in King Arthur's court. And then he says, "Hey, let's play a game." Like, I guess like Jigsaw. and one of you guys, like, if you can like land a hit on me, and in 1 year's time, I will land that very same hit on you. And he kind of leaves it open. Just like in the movie, just like in the tale, that part is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
and then like the youngest of the knights, Sir Gawain, and like it's the way. By the way, the pronunciation of Gawain, like it's really weird because in the movie they pronounce it like 3 different times.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I was first reading this, I was in my head I was pronouncing it Gawain because there's like
Yeah.
an I in there. But the I don't know the
Or
most
Gowan?
Gawain.
Last week I pronounced it Gay Wayne.
Gawain,
Gawain, yeah.
Gawain,
All right,
Gawain.
from now on, spoken gay Wayne.
I think the King Arthur in the movie, he throws like an RL in there, kind
Yeah,
of
Garlwin.
Garlwin or something like that. And I really enjoyed his pronunciation, but I thought it was weird. Interesting too. Anyway, Gawain, he's like the youngest of the knights, and he's also King Arthur's nephew.
He's not even a knight yet.
No, he's not. He's just
Oh, really?
yeah, he's just the
just
son.
a
He's just his
guy.
nephew.
Yeah, plebe.
Well,
He's just
I know that's how it is in the movie. I don't know
A
how it
royal
is-
plebe, I guess.
how it is in the actual tale.
I think he's a lord.
Yeah.
I think he's a lord.
Yeah.
Whatever he is like a highborn guy, and he's like the most junior of the junior. He's like the nubbliest nub in the fucking round table.
Essentially.
But also in the tale, he is like the like most diggity nub. Like he's like the Captain America
Mm.
of King Arthur people.
Watch your language.
Like he's all about like hoo-yah, honor, like
Honor, courage, commitment.
honor, courage. He's like super like the perfect like round table member.
The sole embodiment of like that round table's
Ideals. Yes. And he rises up and he says, "Hey, I'll take your challenge." And he cuts his head off, and the guy's like,
Starts-
"You played yourself."
He's like, all right, gets up, laughing, pulling his
Yeah,
head away.
yeah. And in the actual tale, he goes on this journey to meet this knight in the Green Chapel, which is exactly the same with the movie. But in the movie, like the bulk of the movie is the journey, but in the tale, the journey is like 4 lines.
Mm.
Like they spend 0 time on the journey. It's just like he did it, and then like he met up with the Green Knight, like right away. And then the weird thing that this is a huge difference from the movie. In the tale, before he gets to the Green Chapel to meet with the Green Knight, he ends up at this castle, just like the movie.
Mhm.
But in the castle, like he goes through this weird like trial of temptation,
Mhm.
and it's like 3 levels. And it's similar to the movie, but it's also very different. Basically, the lord of the castle that he stays at, he says, "Hey, I'm going out hunting, but whatever gift you receive in my palace, I want you to give me that same gift." And then he's like, "Okay."
Oh yeah,
And then-
because he says that you see many different things, here, but
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, in the
magical.
movie, he says that. Yeah. I'm not even talking about the movie right now. I'm just talking about the tale.
Oh yeah.
We could get to the movie in a second. And then the wife is like this noble lady, but she's also like she's like super thirsty, which is similar to the movie. But in the tale, she gives him 1 kiss every night. Well, she gives him 1 kiss the first night, 2 kisses the second night, and 3 kisses the third night. And every day the Lord comes back, and the dude is just giving this guy kisses.
What do you got from me?
Yeah.
Yeah, supposed to give me the things I don't get.
Like he doesn't ask him where he got these kisses from. He's just like, okay, today's 2 kisses. I wonder what tomorrow's gonna be. Oh, it's 3 kisses.
Jeez.
And like on the 3rd day, in addition to the 3 kisses, the lady also gives him like this cloth band that will supposedly protect him from all physical harm. But he doesn't give it up. He's like, you know what? I'm not giving this gift away. I'm keeping this one. So he just gives the Lord 3 kisses, but he doesn't give him the little the sash. So he goes off on his way, and he meets up with the Green Knight, and he basically flinches, just like the movie. Green Knight mocks him, and then the second time, he is like, "Okay, do it." And then the Green Knight swings, and he nicks his neck. And then the Green Knight's like, "Hey, congratulations, you passed the test of courage. Turns out this was all a trick done by King Arthur's sister, Morgan Le Fay.
Morgan Le Fay, yeah.
She was the
Is-
culprit behind all this, and she wanted to do this to play a prank on King Arthur. And you showed your mettle. You proved yourself a true knight worthy of courage, honor, courage, and commitment." And then he goes back, and everyone like celebrates him, and it's a happy ending.
Well, the Green Knight turned out to be the Lord.
Green Knight turned out to be the Lord. Exactly. Yeah. This movie is not so cookie cutter. This movie takes a look at that tale and is like, "Nah, let's do it different."
Talk about a cliff ending, cliffhanger. Whatever.
Yeah.
If
In-
you
in a
don't
way-
if you don't know the story.
If you don't know, yeah. But maybe because they even said before the
Uh-huh.
movie,
Mhm.
it says this is a retelling of.
Yes.
So this is the retelling
Yeah.
of means it is not supposed to be what the story is supposed
Yeah.
to be. It's its own.
I really
So it
liked.
utilizes the meat and potatoes.
What'd you guys think of that? The way that the subtitles came on, like for like telling all that, because you
Oh,
know
like-
how it came up in big like medieval letters.
Oh, like the part one.
It was almost like
chapter one.
chapters.
Yeah, but like I don't know. In the beginning, it didn't come up in like normal ways. It kind of just popped up, and then it like came in beats.
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? It only happened in the beginning though. Obviously later on, like there were more chapters, like
Mhm.
quote unquote chapters, but in the beginning, like it had a little bit more interesting cutting to the way that the subtitles were displayed.
I'll have to
It
rewatch.
was almost like a prologue getting into heavier
kind
like
of.
beefier
Yeah.
sections of the movie.
I don't want to say prologue because that kind of makes it sound like a Star Wars like prologue reel, and that's not anything what I'm talking about. Anyway, I just really enjoyed the visuals
Mhm.
of this
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
and I really liked the pacing, and my body could tell that like the pacing was really quick. But my mind knew how much time was passing, and I'm like, this movie is not a fast-paced movie.
Mm-mm.
But I think, I don't know, I can't really,
The fact that
yeah.
this entire thing happens within a year, or was it that he was actually bullshitting for the first couple months until one day King Arthur's like, "Hey man, maybe you should do something."
Yeah.
Maybe was it like that where he
Yeah.
actually was only traveling for maybe a month or two,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then actually he went like 8 months just, "Hey, this is my story. Now everyone likes me."
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah,
what
'cause
happened, right?
there was that
He was
cut.
bullshitting, right?
There-
That's what I'm saying, right?
yeah.
He was just fucking around for a couple months first.
Do you remember the cut, the subtitle cut that said like a very quick year later or whatever? Remember it said that?
Oh, okay, because I
So like
thought-
literally a year passed, and this guy had done nothing.
He's like, I really need to, get across the land to go meet this guy.
maybe I should actually
Train.
train or
Yeah.
Maybe-
But how do you even train for that?
Train
You
for getting
can't.
hit.
How do you train to do exactly the same thing the other guy
But-
did?
But it's not about the destination; it's about the journey. The train for the
This
journey.
movie is all about that whole adage.
Yeah, it really is not about the destination.
No.
It's about the journey, and a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
Should we begin? Should we start from beginning to end and actually then tear off, come back, or
What? Sure. Yeah.
veer off? I mean,
What- I think the first shot of this movie is him just sitting on a throne, and then this crown just comes out from the air, and it kind of lands on his head, and then like he's like
fiery,
yeah, and then his
crown.
face catches on fire,
Mhm.
and like he's in like this super like regal, almost like Christ like fucking pose with his throne and whatnot,
Mhm.
and then his crown itself has the halo, so that in itself is like Christ-like
This is-
imagery.
Dev Patel, right? What's his name?
Yeah, Dev Patel.
Dev Patel.
Um, and I was like, okay, like right off the bat, this movie just gave off a very confident, very like, I guess, offbeat vibe. This is not gonna be like a King Arthur brawl fest.
Yeah. For me, these type of movies,
Yeah.
like medieval type, even
Mhm.
those things, they don't normally do it for me.
Yeah.
I don't really feel for them that much, but this one did. This one, I was actually excited. I was not excited, but I was like, I kind of am glad. I want to see this.
Yeah.
I was interested in it, and so I was interested from beginning to end.
Yeah.
From beginning to end, didn't take my eyes off the screen because I was invested in what was going on.
Mhm.
Because really, I just want to know what would happen.
Yeah.
I really want to know. Hey, obviously he's going through this, all this, and something happens. But that's how I felt. There's a
Were you familiar with the tale?
no, I wasn't. I was not.
That's a very interesting experience.
Mhm.
I think I might actually. Were you already familiar before, or you read?
So I didn't know too much. I was familiar with like the title, like Sir Arthur Gawain and the Green Knight, because like I vaguely remember talking about it in like some English classes way back when, but I could not remember the story. I remember someone gets their head chopped off. I couldn't like place like who does what, like who gets what done to them, and then when I started watching the movie, it all came back. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happens. And then like the Green Knight shows up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's gonna happen. And then I'm like, oh wait, I forget. Like, does he actually get his head cut off? I don't fucking remember. And then like after a while, I'm like, wait, no, he totally lives, and they celebrate at the end. And I'm like, okay, let's see if that's what's gonna happen in this one. So I guess starting off, I didn't exactly know the details of the tale, but as I watched it, it started to come back to me.
Mhm.
all right. So we talk about how what happened was in this one he wakes up and it's Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There's a whole thing, little
Uh-huh.
dinner with him and his uncle King Arthur.
Yes. They don't even mention that he's
Mhm.
King Arthur. King Arthur is
Yeah.
not even brought up once.
They
No,
hardly mention anyone's
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyone's.
Oh.
We're gonna,
Alright.
You want to take a pause?
Yeah, well, we could pause for a second. Okay, sorry for that pause. We had a phone call. We're gonna have a guest coming in a little bit. When that happens, we'll pause it again. But what we were talking about how King Arthur wasn't, the name's not even mentioned,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. I think in the beginning there is like a monologue given by like a lady voice that like kind of turns into like a scary voice, and it mentions like the boy who pulled the sword from the stone.
Yeah.
And, like that's like the only like hint of what the fuck is going on, and they don't really talk about it again.
There is mention that he's the king and Arthur, because they say his name Arthur.
Oh, they do.
They do mention the name Arthur. His wife.
Okay. Oh, right.
His
Okay.
wife mentions
yeah.
the name Arthur,
Guinevere.
and then it
Guinevere.
is my king. Therefore, yes,
Mm-hmm.
he's. But no, they don't just go straight up says King Arthur.
Yeah.
King Arthur this. He pulled a sword from stone. I like that. I looked up the people
Mhm.
whoever wielded Excalibur,
Yeah.
and Gawain is his credit as one of them in
Oh, really?
history.
Huh.
Like in the movie, he gives him. He's like, I need a sword.
Oh yeah, I
need a
remember
sword."
that.
And
Yeah.
he gives him Excalibur. Here you go.
In
Yeah.
in the
Grab his-
story, I'm pretty sure he just used the Green Knight's axe.
Axe. Well, he has a sword. He uses the sword. He has a sword on him,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't do anything with it, right? He didn't use the sword to cut his head off.
Oh wait, in the tale or in the movie?
In the tale, he uses the axe.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, in the movie he does use
In the
Excalibur.
movie,
in the movie, yeah,
he uses Excalibur.
Excalibur,
he definitely does.
yeah, he does. Never mind. Or else he wouldn't be asking.
They,
But-
they don't really list any other characters or like name any other like
Mhm.
big characters. Morgan Le Fay, which is most likely his mom.
Yeah, no, she's the mom, and it like I really think that's interesting what they
Mhm.
did with Morgan Le Fay, because in the tale she's just like this annoying trickster who plays this prank, and like she's kind of in the shadows, and she is kind of in the shadows in this, but I feel like she kind of she definitely caused it
Mm-hmm.
because like the whole burning letter thing. She doesn't go to the dinner because like for shady reasons, and then like there's the whole scene of where she's doing this like crazy sorcery like ceremony thing.
Do you think it was her way of making him, knighting material?
I think that's what it was. I think
Right?
she was like, "You're a deadbeat son, and I need to push
Yeah.
you into
Get out of the house. Do something.
Yes,
Stop
I
banging
think that's what
wenches.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remember, when he cuts off the dude's head, she collapses. It cuts to a scene of her in her little like witch circle, and she fucking collapses, and she's like, "Fuck," because like I think she expected him to just like not.
Play by the rules and be like, hey,
Yes.
maybe read this
Because, like,
properly.
even his uncle is like, remember, it's just a game. But then this guy, he just cranks it to 11, and he's
Yeah.
like, fuck it, I'm full sending this bitch.
I'm gonna fucking cut
I
your
literally
head
could
off.
just like go up to you and nick you just a
Yes,
little bit.
and then like that could be it. And
This guy, he gives up the game like, hey man, all you gotta do is strike a blow on me.
yeah,
We're playing. Hey, by the way, it's a game. Strike a blow on me. All right, I'm gonna cut your fucking head off. You came here,
Like,
you
he
ruined my
goes
dinner.
totally ham. But like not even that. Like that whole, I think that whole sequence is so because in the tale they don't really go into it in too much
Mhm.
detail. Like he just cuts his head off and that's it.
Mm.
And like everyone is like, oh, congratulations. But in this one, like there's like a whole sequence where like Gawain is like, what the fuck is this? Is this a trick? Like, why aren't you fighting? Fight me,
Mhm.
because like, and then like
he says, show your hand or whatever it was, or make
Yeah.
a move. Something.
yeah.
He said, well, in an olden
Make your
words.
move and like I shall make mine or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the dude is just like, nah. And then he presents his head, and then like Gawain is like, he says very well,
Like,
very very well.
all of you remember this moment. And then
Yes.
just
Relax,
Like,
dude. This guy's giving you his head. You didn't fight anybody.
Like-
This guy just wanted to die.
he's so eager to be
Yeah.
remembered and honored and,
And
wanting all this.
I think like it didn't seem too out of place. Like I can understand why he felt the need to go ham. Cause like his uncle was like I really like the conversation, by the way, that he had with his uncle,
Mhm.
like before the whole Green Knight thing showed up. It was a very like honest and like tender like conversation. And I was like wow, this is like he's speaking very slow. He's not saying a lot of words, but
Mhm.
like I am hanging on every word that the uncle is saying here. And basically the uncle says, I don't know you very well, which is
But I'd like to know you.
yeah, but I like to know you. And he says that's not your fault, but it's like it's my fault.
Oh yeah.
And
He does. He blames
yeah.
himself. He's like, you're family.
yeah, I should have like taken more effort to know you better since you are my sister's son.
Yeah. I like. He also says yes. Like, hey, do you have any tales you want to tell me? And he's like,
yeah.
I have none to tell you. And then
Yeah.
what Guinevere says, yet.
Yeah, so they're not like no one is shitting on Gawain.
Mhm.
Like they want Gawain to be like they want to accept him, but then he just has lived such a like boring,
Relatively
wasteful
boring.
life.
Relatively, right?
Like,
Sounds like he's
mm,
just
Hanging out at the brothel,
banging
like
these girls all day.
yeah,
you know?
not doing anything productive, like waking up late on Christmas, waking up in a brothel. Like he doesn't just go to the brothel and leave. He like hangs out there.
Mhm. He wakes up there. You know?
Yes.
He's the most useless version of himself.
He's
He
like-
needs to
Yeah.
tap
he's like-
into his other multiverses.
He's like Tyrion.
Exactly.
He's like Tyrion Lannister.
Oh yeah, he's
yeah.
he's early Tyrion. He's Tyrion without the character development.
And also just not a midget.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all right, non quote unquote imp. what they say.
Yes. In the series they call him imp.
So I'd say it would probably be respectful to say imp in this situation. Anybody listening who's of impish nature, please, I'm sorry. Anyway,
Anyway, wait, what was so? So that's a complete 180 from like the fucking from the tale. Because in the tale he's like a virtuous young, like strapping lad
Mhm.
who's like trying to do his duty to, I guess, be knightly and whatnot.
Well, that's how they like throughout the movie.
Mhm.
That's how like they tell his tale, like with the like the little puppets
Yeah.
and the plays and like people talking about
yeah.
him in the bars. They're like, oh yeah, this dude's like a big deal. But
Yeah.
to him, he's like, I literally like this dude just gave me his head and I just cut it
Yeah,
off.
no, he feels fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like,
I
a
didn't-
piece of
I
shit.
didn't really do much, man.
I don't think he does because he's sitting there later on
Yeah.
in the year. He's like now he's hanging with people at the
Yeah.
the beer play
the bar.
the bars and he's laughing. He's with these guys telling stories. Yeah, I don't think he
No,
feels
but-
bad about it,
but
but I
he-
feel as though he doesn't
why-
feel worthy of like.
Well,
this-
why doesn't he admit who he is? Because the drunk dude was like, "Hey, you're Gawain, right?" And then at first he's like, "Nah, I'm just some guy." And then the drunk guy was like, "No, you're Gawain. You come here every night." Blah blah blah. He doesn't advertise himself.
Mhm.
So I think he wants to have a good time. I think you're right. He still wants to be the party boy, but I don't think he's interested in fame.
Or
He just
being-
wants
yeah.
to
I
get
think he wants the fame, but I think he doesn't want it in that way.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna pause it for a second and let our guest in. All right, we're back. We are joined with Rami Dia. I used to work with him. He's a cool guy. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I think what we were talking about was what were we talking about?
we're talking about
Just-
Party Boy.
Yeah,
Party Boy
yeah,
Gawain.
sorry. Yeah. I just had a brain fart. Yeah, so like he doesn't in my view, like he doesn't really like the fact that everybody in town is talking about it. There's like puppet shows going on about it. And the guy at the bar, like he kind of is like, "Oh, you're the guy." And at first he's like, "Oh no, not really." He just wants to like party anonymously. He still wants to be a shitbag.
Mhm.
Like he still wants to be like a depraved dude who's like hanging out at brothels. He wants to maintain that shitty, lazy lifestyle.
Yeah.
But he doesn't feel good about what he did.
I mean, remember one of the principal people he hung out with before the event
Yeah.
was his, for lack of a better term, chick.
Yeah, no,
From the
his
brothel.
his brothel girl,
Yeah.
his lady friend.
His lady of the night.
A lady of the night.
And,
I thought he was gonna say it. So
you know, yeah, and so he just kind of falls
Yeah.
back into his old ways
Yeah.
of, this is my life. I did this one thing. This is my life. Oh, look at all these people talking about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be noticed going to these places because I'm supposed to be like this righteous person who doesn't go to these places.
true.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good way.
All right.
um,
yeah.
Like, think of a classic Arthurian tale.
Yeah.
There's they all wear a star pennant. And
There was that star thing that they had
Yeah,
on their
they,
shields.
They
and
all
stuff.
wear
Okay.
the star, and the star represents the 5 points of
Okay.
a knight's journey, which are generosity, courtesy, friendship, chastity, and piety.
Okay.
So they are supposed to live their whole lives
yeah.
with those 5 points.
Yeah.
And how can he live his life with those 5 points
Mhm.
if he's going off and slumming it in
Yeah.
this
So-
brothel?
So is it that he wants
Yeah.
to maintain that vision of a knight because everyone thinks he is? They hold him so highly in these stories.
No, I
So
think
he wants to
it's-
maintain that, but also he doesn't want to give up the life he already had.
I think
Well,
he's
he wasn't a
just-
knight yet.
No,
Yeah.
I know
yeah,
that, but everyone.
Gawain was not a knight.
No, I agree. I wasn't saying he's a knight. I'm saying the area of they all believe him to be this righteous person, like you said, and
Mhm.
maybe he wants to maintain that for the sake of of his memory.
I think you're right in the point of the purpose of every Arthurian tale is to prove that whatever knight that it is, they go on their journey and they're being tested to make sure that they always pass those 5 checkpoints.
Okay.
So there's going to be
Okay.
something in their journey that stops them, that shows generosity, some curiosity, courtesy, all that stuff on their way. And in a classic tale,
Mhm.
they all meet said points. But in this tale, he doesn't necessarily meet the points, which
Yeah.
is shown throughout the entire movie.
True.
Uh huh.
There's a lot
Um,
of things where he doesn't.
yeah, so like
He just fucks it up like at every step of the way, almost.
every single step. I don't think there's a single time where he doesn't.
I think
Oh,
like
crap.
there's the one time where oh well, are we we're gonna pause it for a second. Okay, we're back. We're talking about the 5 points of a night and how
Yep.
Yeah, you were saying.
he just sucks at it.
Yeah, he just meet like for every. He doesn't meet every point in which he's supposed to meet.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
So one of the things with the original poem, The
Mhm.
Green Knight, is Morgana. She's always out to prove that either Arthur
Yeah.
or his knights are not as virtuous as their
Yeah,
virtues
she's trying to undermine
tell
them.
as their virtues show. So she always like tries to do something, and with the Green Knight, they don't really talk about why
Mhm.
the Green Knight, why Morgana summoned the Green Knight. They don't talk about if her
In the movie or in the tale?
in the tale.
Okay,
they,
yeah.
they don't really talk about like was her purpose to test Gawain,
I think so.
or was her
'cause-
purpose to test another one of Arthur's knights?
But he was in
Yeah.
the wrong place.
And then Gawain in the background was like, yeah, I'll fight him.
Yeah,
And
no, I think that's exactly it. Gawain steps up because he's like the youngest of the bunch.
right,
And like he wants to prove himself and he wants to like make Arthur look good, make his uncle look good.
Mhm.
And like he's presented as like the most like youthful and virtuous of the bunch.
yeah,
And obviously Morgana is just like, let's try to trip this guy up.
yeah,
And he kind of does and doesn't, because in the tale, like he resists the lady's advances to an extent. He only accepts kisses from her, but at the very end, he takes the sash from her,
and hides it.
and yeah, he doesn't give it away.
Mhm.
Yeah, he doesn't
He's
give
like,
it
this
to
is a pretty important artifact.
whatever his name
should
is. I can't
probably-"
remember the guy's name.
I don't think the guy had a name. I think it was just
Just Lord.
Lord of it.
Lord, it was
Oh,
just Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
the,
what
the
they called
Lord.
him.
Yep.
Lord.
Well, that's only one of the points.
Okay.
Because the first thing he fails
Yeah.
is generosity.
Oh, because
The money to the
The
peasant.
scav.
Or the
Yeah.
the scav.
Right?
Yeah.
So the scavenger,
uh-huh.
he is like, hey, I just told you all this stuff.
Is it worth
You're not
something?
gonna give me money, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, sure, right? And
Yeah.
he flips him a coin and basically says that's what you're good for, right?
Okay.
So he doesn't show the generosity towards the scav.
Yeah.
So they take.
And then, well, and then they take him, and we go through that. I thought it was a very good scene where they pan through.
I love that.
Right?
I fucking love
and
that. Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that's
Did you guys watch?
Where he's-
I know I sent you guys like this video essay. Did you guys get a chance to watch that?
Not
I
yet.
did.
I did
Oh,
not
man.
watch it. I'm sorry.
Whatever. Yeah.
No, so when they, he's tied up, and in my mind, the camera panning, I was watching it with my wife,
Yeah.
Letty, and she was like, "Oh, is he dead?" And I was like, "No, he can't be dead. It's
Yeah.
the story's about him." And then it panned to him, and it was bones, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
they killed him."
Damn,
and then it pans back around, and
Yeah.
he's alive. So in my mind, that was Gawain going through like, if I just accept this, I'm gonna be dead
This is
here.
my
This is
potential
the end
future.
of,
Mhm.
Yeah.
this is my future. And then he's like, okay, I got to do something. Let me crawl over to this sword, cut my way
Yeah.
out.
He chooses life.
But then he comes on to Saint Winifred.
Yeah, I really wanted to.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite lines in the movie. It shouldn't be. It's one of my favorite lines where he's about to jump in and get her head, and then he stops and he's like, "Wait,
What's it?
what are you gonna do for me?"
What's in it for me?
And
Yeah.
then she's like, "Why would you ask me that? Why would you ever ask me that?" And I just thought that shit was so funny.
So, that again,
why would you ask me that?
that takes away from the courtesy point.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
a courteous knight would just say, she'd be like, hey, go in there, get my head. And he'd be
Absolutely.
like,
No questions
yo,
asked.
dog, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And he would jump in, right?
This is true.
He said, wait a second. if I get myself soaking wet, get in here,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What are you doing for me, right? and then he, he goes gets the head. He
Uh-huh.
goes through that like kind of ethereal
There's like
scene.
whole
Yeah.
bunch of those in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
underwater, and it's like maybe it's like a come to Jesus type moment, where they're like,
Yeah.
hey, like this is another test,
Okay.
and you sort of passed it, but the next test you need to do better.
Yeah.
And
You
then
get a 65.
then he puts the head back on the pillow, and
Yeah.
then
Minimum passing score.
oh wow, look, the axe is there.
Yeah. It kind of felt very video gamey
Yeah,
in that sense.
yeah.
I had to look that up. I had to look up why in the next scene did he have the axe?
So
Because yeah.
no, you continue.
Well, like,
I
I guess
have a
maybe I
theory.
wasn't paying attention. Oh, I looked it up. The reason, because, the next scene is like, why does he have the axe? We didn't talk about how the scav took the
I don't
axe.
think
right?
the movie.
This is mine.
I don't think the movie cares about like logical fucking flow of shit.
No,
It's
no.
just I feel like this is one of those things where it's just like the movie is like you deserve the axe now.
Yeah,
And
he
we're
returned
just
her
gonna
head,
fucking
and
give
then
it to
she
you.
gave him in return
Yeah.
The axe.
the axe
Because-
Yeah.
So-
they
because even in-
reciprocated generosity.
Right,
Yeah.
even in Arthurian tales, when they don't, when they come to the courtesy test,
Courtesy, yeah.
there's
Mhm.
always at the end of it like you did something for me, here's the thing for you,
Mhm.
Quid
type,
pro quo.
Reward.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
type thing. So that was going to be his
Reward.
gift back, his reward.
Mhm.
Um,
So I think a lot of what he has to like go through to get to the Green Knight was all like Morgana Le Fay, like putting him through this, making him go through all these tests, putting this like all in his head. Even the winch, the what?
His lady of the night.
Yeah, not the winch.
Oh, the lady of the castle,
Yeah,
right?
Okay, yeah.
the lady, the Winifred, the beggar. I think that was all Morgan Le Fay. Even the fox
so
as well.
okay, I'm getting there.
Hmm
Yeah.
I can tie all this together.
Okay.
Right. So then friendship is another virtue, right?
All right.
And the friendship is with the fox.
Okay.
With the fox, okay.
And
Oh.
in the beginning,
yeah.
he sees the fox and he's like,
Fuck off.
"Fuck you, fox!"
Yeah,
and he
get
like
outta
throws rocks at the fox, and the fox is like, "Yo, bro," right?
He's big enough for
I'm just
both
trying
of
to
us.
chill.
And then he sees the fox again, and he's like,
All right.
"All right, you can come on in,
Yeah.
just
He keeps
chill with
failing
me,
this shit.
right?" Yeah. And then he goes and he has that again. He eats like a mushroom,
hmm
and the
Vomits.
fox eats the mushroom, and then
Tripping.
vomits, and then he has like this acid trip or whatever,
hmm
Oh yeah.
and he sees these giants and calls them over, and the fox is like, "Yo, stay away, homie," right? And that's the fox showing friendship again,
Okay. Yeah.
and then they get to the point where they get to the river,
Yeah.
and the fox is like, "Yo,
Don't go.
you've
man.
proven your point. Don't go
Oh,
any
yeah.
further."
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Fuck you, fox," and he like tries to slash the fox with the
Oh,
axe,
yeah.
right? So again, he failed the friendship test,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because he like pushed away this fox all these times
Mhm.
when all the fox was trying to do was
Look out for him.
hmm
and then chastity, he failed that obviously, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I
Crazy.
I think
Can't
he
believe they
tried.
showed
He
that,
tried.
no, that,
but-
that
showed the
scene
scene.
where they
yeah,
showed
no,
the
yeah,
green set, I was
yeah.
like,
like, wow, they actually showed that.
Now
That
that's
instantly
cinema.
reminded me of Evangelion. Have you guys seen Evangelion by any chance?
Evangelion?
It's an anime, and
Yeah.
there's a very similar scene.
Mhm.
And there's a very, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a very similar scene.
yeah, it was
Um,
so weird, but yeah, he passed that
Yeah.
chastity test. Right?
Technically, yeah.
Technically, on a technicality.
and here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Is I think that they intentionally used the same actress as the Lady of the Night for the Lady of the House
Yes.
to further tempt him because
Croft.
he's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, she looks exactly like the
Yeah.
chick I love having sex with.
She has a different accent too.
Right,
She
she
has a
does.
highborn accent.
But it is the same actress. I don't know if y'all noticed it
I
first.
did
Yeah.
100%
I did.
notice.
What's
Yeah.
her name again? You know her. Right?
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he failed that.
Yeah.
And then in the end, as a whole, he fails at piety because everything is for him and nothing is for God, right? So even up to the point where he's like kneeled down and he's like, yeah, cut this shit off,
Yeah.
right? And then he's like, oh no, and they go through that whole like he runs away,
Yeah.
he's now a
That
knight,
whole, like, yeah.
and
I like that.
and then at the end, like he's like, okay, I'm gonna take off the green sash, and his head falls off.
Yeah.
Everything he did was for him, like including taking that green sash off and letting himself die.
Yeah.
Because if he let
Because
them break in,
yeah,
they were gonna do worse to him than just cut his
he
head
had
off.
already lost
Very
everything
true.
by
He had
then.
lost
Like,
everything,
he
right?
pulled that sash to kill himself.
Yeah.
basically.
So everything was for him, nothing for God.
Yeah.
Not once in his journey did he bow down like every other knight and say, you know, dear God, thank you for delivering me through this challenge or helping me or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Hell, they even do it in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You know, I defeated the Black Knight, and he
Yeah.
bows down to pray about it. You know, so everything and even that type of an Arthurian tale is
Yeah.
for God, and everything he did was for him, including
Yeah.
cutting the head off of the Green Knight in the first place.
100%.
Because he's like, because the king was like, yeah, don't worry, one day you'll have a story and you'll be able to tell
yeah,
it.
he was
and it'll
very
be
nice
epic."
about it.
And then he was like, yo, dog,
This is my story.
here's my story.
Yeah,
Yes.
full send.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that Morgana was the fox, and she was like trying to lead him through it.
Yeah. She
Like,
doesn't want.
I don't want my kid to get
Yeah,
hurt, but this
exactly.
dumbass is the one that fucking said, "I'll do it," right?
Yeah.
And then this
Wasn't expecting
dumbass is
this
the
one.
one that cut his head off. Like,
Yeah.
if that was me, if I read that poem out loud and they were like, "Yo, this is what you got to do," and a year later he's gonna do the same thing to you, I'd be like, "Oh, poke." And
in
then,
accordance with the rules.
yep,
Counts.
Said.
yeah, exactly.
These are the rules. Look, see.
and then a year later, I'd go up to him and be like, "What up, homie?
Yeah.
You ready for the poke? It's right here, bro."
Put wherever you want, man.
So
Yeah.
I think that was Morgana. I think that the blind lady that was creepily watching them have sex was
Definitely-
Morgana,
Definitely Morgana.
right? Especially since she was wearing the
Oh, you didn't want to
Yeah.
see it.
the
just wanted to be there,
blindfold,
right?
Yes.
right? And that's how Morgana even wrote the letter for the Green Knight. Was
Oh.
she had the blindfold?
Oh,
on
yeah,
when she
yeah.
summoned the Green Knight.
That is how it was.
And yeah, I think the whole thing was Morgana going through and saying, okay, this is the next test that I want him to try.
yeah.
And I think she threw him like softballs, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Definitely.
here's this scab that knows the direction you need to go.
Yeah.
Toss him some fucking money
Yeah.
and say thanks.
You have plenty of money because you definitely
Damn
don't
it.
need that money.
Yeah,
in this
he
situation.
didn't fucking
You didn't need anything.
God damn it. All right, take his sword, take his axe away, you know, and
Fuck this
then she
guy.
gets to Saint Winifred and Morgana
Oh, he's like,
probably,
you're gonna re-earn this, right? Essentially.
yeah, so now Morgana is Saint Winifred,
Mhm.
right? And she's like, "Hey, this shit's easy. Just go get my head."
Yeah.
And he's like, "But what's in it for me?" And Morgana's like, "Why would you say that? Like, you're an idiot."
I'm a ghost. What do you want me to do?
Right? And then he gets to the fox,
Yeah.
you know, and she's like, "Yo, I already showed you this fox is following you."
Uh-huh.
And then she is the fox, and again, she's like,
These really are softballs. He's not asking
"You're
him
an
to do a backflip
idiot,"
off of her.
you know?
Mhm.
a triple backflip off a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his feet
Now the
here.
creepy part was like when
Uh-huh.
I was watching it and he had sex with the chick. That's when I was
Oh,
like,
at the
Morgana
end?
has to be the blind lady
Mm-hmm.
at the Lord's house.
Oh, but he doesn't have sex with her.
I'm pretty sure he just gets a handy.
He just gets a
handy.
handy.
Whatever. Same.
Regardless, there's skin to skin contact
the-
here.
Skin to skin
He-
contact and then spum rubbing.
No,
Like green sash
Yeah.
all over his junk.
Yep.
Whatever it was.
sashed
yeah.
everywhere.
But I think that at that point his mom was like, "Well, I can't have sex with my own kid." So she was like,
I don't
"This
think it
lady
was-
is a real thing, and
Okay.
I'm gonna be here as the blind lady."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then he saw her and he's like, "Ah, that's fucking creepy."
Yeah.
And he was like, "You didn't watch me get a handy," you know, and runs off.
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
the room. You heard everything. I'm glad. Might as well just seen everything.
Mhm.
Right. And then when it comes back to the end,
Mhm.
and it kind of he takes off the green sash, right?
Oh, in the dream
after
sequence,
after
or-
he's done with the dream,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep, yep.
and he's like, I'm back with the Green Knight. He's
Yeah.
like, hold up, man. And he takes off the sash, puts it down,
Yeah,
and the Green Knight's like, motherfucker learned his lesson,
yeah,
right?
No.
And he says, off with his head,
yeah.
and then
Off with your head.
cuts to black. Right.
I think
Do you think he was gonna spare him?
I think so.
So
I think so.
in the poem, he was nicked,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And that was like you failed this test, now go back in shame. And then they actually still
They celebrate him at the end.
they still
Yeah.
celebrated
They're
him.
like, "Hey, fuck it."
They were
we did it."
like, "Oh, you're back, cool.
"Yeah."
Like you survived somehow." And he's like, yeah, please don't ask me how I survived. You know.
yeah.
But I think that the author, not the author, the producer, director,
yeah.
did that intentionally to fade the black so that you can say in your brain,
Mhm.
like, nah, he definitely got his
Yeah.
head lobbed off, because that's what I would have done if I was the Green Knight. Or no,
I don't-
he saved him because he wants him to go back in shame.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like an open-ended what happened.
I think they left it open. They left it more open than the tale. I agree. But I strongly feel that he let him go and he went back and he lived a better life. He didn't live the shitty life like
Yeah,
like that.
that could be a thing.
And the reason because I don't know if you guys know this, there's an end credit scene.
No.
Oh.
no,
There is an end credit scene.
I
of-
honestly did not watch
You
it.
gotta. It's like at the very. It's not even mid credit scene. It's not even mid credit Avengers level scene. It's like at the very end, like after
Shawarma scene.
fucking yes, it's a shawarma scene.
Oh my god.
It's a scene of the King Arthur's throne room, and there's a little girl, and she's playing with the crown, and she puts on the crown, and big differences between that little short scene and like his future where he kills himself.
Yeah.
In the future where he kills himself, his kingdom's in disarray, and
Yep.
people are storming his castle, and he has the windows boarded up. His family leads him, and then he fucking kills himself.
Yeah.
And
And it was a little girl, if I remember
it
correctly.
was a little,
Mhm.
but in the end credit scene for this one, it's a different actress for the little girl.
Oh.
Different actress, and she's a different age.
Mm.
And there's sunlight coming in, so the windows are not boarded up, so that you can infer that like, hey, no one's trying to invade the castle.
Interesting.
So that kind of lends credence to the theory that hey,
Got
maybe
nicked.
he went back and got his act together.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way that he carried himself at the end when he took the sash off and he said, "I'm ready."
Yeah.
The way he said, "I'm ready," it kind of made me feel like, oh, he has accepted.
He finally
Yes.
passed a test.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's accepted it more a change in general.
He's accepted
or death.
He has accepted death. He has
Yeah.
accepted this is my fate, and I will honorably follow through.
Do you,
And I think that because the previous two times he fucking flinches, and he
Yeah.
and
fearfully too.
yes,
Like almost like begging for his life at this point. Like wait,
Yeah.
wait.
To the point where the Green Knight was like,
He's getting
"Bitch,
annoyed.
did I flinch?"
Yeah, he did say that. Like,
he did
he
say
comes up
that.
straight up
Yeah.
Did I flinch when you chopped my fucking head off?
Yeah. Like,
Nah, man. I got back up.
No, it's
and
different
laughed
though.
at your ass.
yeah. Right.
I'm not made of trees, man.
Yeah.
Weird thing, in his vision,
Uh huh.
when he takes the sash off, his head completely falls off.
Mhm.
Is that to show that he's supposed to die being beheaded, or that he did get beheaded but it didn't cut his head off, and now it's just his sash has been magically holding his head together forever, or that's just there for the visual?
I think it might be a little both. It might be a little bit of the literal magic where the sash is keeping his head together, and it might also be metaphorical in that like the sash is basically the only thing that
Kept you alive for so
yeah,
long.
Yeah.
like keeps his honor. Like without the sash, he has no honor
Yeah.
or no semblance of honor.
I did.
The
Yeah.
sash, in my opinion, I don't know if y'all have watched. Oh my God, what's the name of the movie? The Book of Life. It's a
Mhm.
cartoon,
I don't think I've seen
Movie.
that one. No.
and there's two characters that are godly, and they're like
Mhm.
competing for Earth. And one of them says, "I think that this dude is going to marry this girl,"
Yeah.
and the other one says,
It's
"No,
Monty
it's gonna
Python's
be-"
Book of Life, right?
Huh?
Monty Python's Book of Life.
No,
No,
this is
he's-
Book
this is
of
an
Life. It's like
animated.
a animated.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix, I think. And so
No, I'm thinking of
the
like-
devil character is like, I choose that guy, and then that guy, he actually gives a medal to him that imbues him with life, like he can't be killed.
Oh.
So they're like, yeah, he's going to be the victor because literally nothing can kill him.
He has God mode.
Right. And so I see that is like a common theme throughout a lot of movies where there's some thing that a character is given that makes them like
Yeah.
God mode.
Kind of reminds me of Captain America.
Yeah.
Captain America and
Right.
like the Falcon. Like Falcon, I feel like the super serum is
Yep.
kind of like the sash.
Or Vision Stone is,
Okay.
kind of like the sash because
Yeah.
Vision gets the stone and he can literally phase through everything,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of movies use that theme, like, there's a thing that makes him more powerful than
Mhm.
anyone else.
But then not
is-
taking that powerful thing, it kind of like you got to be a certain virtuous person to be able to resist that power and be
Right.
like, and
Doesn't
say
have a-
no. Like I don't need it.
Right.
Specific motif to like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, this explains like, I mean, what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Well, like in Book
Maybe.
of Life, what
Yeah.
happens is at the end, the guy that didn't have the medal,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "I'm gonna sacrifice myself
Okay.
to save them, and he can go marry the girl."
Yeah.
And at the very last minute, he like shoves them out of the way, and we think he dies, but the guy that had the medal
Okay.
secretly put it on that other dude and was going to take the
Ah.
L for the team, and so they all come out of it alive.
All right.
He realizes at the end, like, I don't need this to
Mhm.
be a hero.
Yeah.
I can be a hero without this. So the
Yeah.
green sash is a lot the same, where it's, I don't need this to be a
Mhm.
hero. It's kind of like a security blanket for me,
Right.
and eventually we know that security blanket has to go away.
Mm-hmm. And like being able to get to a point in your life where you could give it up, that's like when you have growth.
Right.
That's when you become
Exactly.
a man.
That's when you
Yeah.
make that personal
Yeah.
growth. Yeah.
Do you think in the vision when he saw his own son die in battle, well, he's like, how people
yeah,
say
yeah,
nobody
yeah,
should have
yeah.
to watch, bury their own children or see their own children die. Well,
Mhm.
I here am I, that my son was brave and he fought,
Mm-hmm.
and in this battle and he got killed, and here I am wearing the sash, being
Knowing
essentially-
I can live.
knowing I could live no matter what, and
Yeah.
I'm a coward.
Yeah.
And then
I-
at that point, even if nobody knows you're a coward, that still shows some sort of cowardness under the surface to
Mhm.
them, and in
100%.
you it's even more,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So even after seeing that, it made him think more and more while he's locked up in that in that room while they're waiting to
They did
kill
his
him.
girlfriend dirty.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't sure what was gonna happen with that. I'm like, okay, they're having sex, and okay, like
she's pregnant. They
Okay.
take away her child
Yeah.
from
Yeah, and then they take away her child. I'm like, oh
So-
shit. Oh, well, this kind of makes sense.
because he
So
was
the child was his.
yes, he was a son
And why could she not be with the child?
because she wasn't
she was not highborn.
She's not
She's a highborn.
highborn.
Yeah.
She's not royalty. So
Yeah.
they basically showed that no matter what you do, you
Mhm.
can't be with her,
yeah.
and your life is gonna suck, and you're gonna hate yourself in the end.
Yeah.
true. It's like you're gonna
She makes the most sense in the movie though. She's like the only one that gives
Yeah.
good advice.
Yeah.
She's like, "Why are you going to get your head cut off? That's stupid."
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
it's like, yeah,
he's
you're
like,
right.
because I have to.
Because I'm
yeah,
yeah.
but
'cause I
there's
have
really
to.
there's really no shame in not going
he has
at this point.
no
Even the knight says,
like-
"Wow, you came! Can't believe you actually came. It's crazy."
he
Yeah.
he's going because he thinks that's what everyone expects him to do. He's going through the motions of going.
Yeah,
Like he doesn't believe in the mission. He's like, I gotta do this to save face. And,
yeah.
like that in itself is a kind of cowardice.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of think of it as the immortal snail. Y'all heard this theory?
Wait, what? What's the immortal?
No.
So
What's
the
this?
immortal snail is basically you and a snail are immortal,
Okay.
and throughout your entire life, the snail is trying to catch you. And
Oh,
if it catches
yeah.
you,
I've heard
you're
that.
dead,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, in the whole thing, like he has that immortal snail
Okay.
following him, in that he's the Green Knight. So, I think that like he feels he has to go face the Green Knight.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, he's always going to be looking over his shoulder.
Mhm.
Like, is this guy coming for me today?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't go see him. Is he
Yeah.
coming to track me down?
I don't
that's
know
an
about
immortal
that.
being.
I-
Like, you got to see something with a freaking
don't
wood
think-
head and be like,
No,
there's
I-
something supernatural about
Mhm.
this.
He's
thing."
just
don't
laughing
think
at you
so.
too. He's like,
Yeah.
it's like, congratulations.
I don't think it's an immortal snail situation because I don't think the Green Knight would ever go searching for this guy. I think the only thing
But he
Supposed to
doesn't
make a
know
joke
that.
of him.
It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
he doesn't know that the Green Knight
he
won't come
doesn't
searching.
he doesn't
after him.
even but he doesn't even believe the Green Knight is like even waiting for him. He doubts it because like when
Oh,
King,
that's right. He's
King
like,
Arthur's
yeah,
like,
are you sure there's
"This-
even a
this-
green chapel?
yeah, he's
Yeah, I
like,
remember that. Yeah.
are
yeah.
you sure he's even like you really think he's waiting for me counting down the minutes? Like he doesn't believe
I
it
forgot all
either.
about that. Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give a shit
Arthur,
about
right?
this.
He's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
yeah, King Art like his uncle's like you should probably go because like
you never know.
he says I want greatness for you.
Yeah.
Um,
I totally forgot about that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I already said this to these guys, but I really like King Arthur in this. He has like a very slow, regal way of speaking.
That's what's
It's
his
like-
name from what was he? He was in the Syndicate from Mission Impossible.
So the
What's his
Oh
name?
yeah.
the other thing
That's
about
right.
the
Looks like
the
this.
King Arthur in
Mhm.
Guinevere.
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
Guinevere. Man, that took me a second to remember. Is in every other Arthurian tale, they're like these covered in bright white.
Mhm.
They're very happy. They're surrounded by food and
Oh,
light.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
in this movie, they did the exact opposite motifs where
kinda-
they had darkness and
they're
they looked
dour.
pale and
Yes.
sickly.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
It's
like
A24.
these are
It's
these are not
A24.
the King Arthur and the
Yeah.
Queen Guinevere you're used to.
Uh-huh.
And so that's kind of setting the stage of this is a dark Arthurian tale.
Mhm. No, I mean even right off the bat, like the lady voice that narrates, like she even says like, "But this is not that tale."
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
they straight up
exactly.
say that, and like right when she says that line, her voice changes into like a scary voice.
the Morgana voice.
Is it Morgana's voice?
I think now
I thought
this
it
gives
I
it
felt
rewatch value.
It was
think
Morgana
it is.
talking to me every time she talked. I felt that
Okay.
was Morgana.
Do you guys think that the fact that after the Green Knight came back to life and grabbed his head and started laughing,
Yeah.
do you think that's like a sinister approach, meaning that maybe like after obviously all these ideas of this being his mother challenging
Yeah.
him? To be honest, with all your things that are arguments that may lead in the position of yes, that's exactly what's going on. But why is he laughing if it's a test?
Well, I don't think.
why is
these
this? Why is he
people
laughing sinisterly?
are,
Like you made a big mistake.
I don't think these people are like directly under Morgana's control. I think Morgana summons them, but then they're kind of like their own free agents.
Yeah.
They're acting within their directive, but then like they could do it however they want to do it.
But
sort of.
It could also be a test for Garwin's like his test of courage, because you guys touched on it. He was a coward like throughout the whole movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like in different ways.
Yeah.
And
He showed
you know,
some bravery too.
some like scary dude picks his head up, starts maniacally laughing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to meet this guy in a year.
Yeah.
This guy, he's cut his head off and he walked away. He's like, all right, bet. See you in a year, buddy. That's true. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe he's under control, but he has his own mind. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, you cut my hand off, and I'm gonna enjoy this later on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy reciprocating the favor.
Hey,
Hey, man, all you had to do is just
the
poke him in the
Green
shoulder.
Knight, like, at the end when he finally meets the Green Knight, he's not mean about it. Like he kind of has like a benevolence to him.
Yeah.
In the way that he's like trying to cut off his head. And like he allows him the opportunity for dignity. And yeah, like I thought the way that the Green Knight was portrayed, because they could have made it like cartoonishly evil.
Hmm.
Like they could have made him like fucking Sauron or some shit like that. But and I learned this later on. The director David Lowery, the direction that he gave to the guy playing the Green Knight was play him like your Santa Claus, and that's what he did.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a Santa Claus that's trying to cut your head off, but like, yeah, I thought
Some
that
Santa Clausy vibes there. Yeah.
more of a Krampus vibe than Santa Claus.
I like how the letter
Yeah.
was to show like this is his voice.
Okay.
Someone speaking through Guinevere.
Oh yeah.
But then
Yeah.
later on, as if he didn't have a voice, he was just he was just a knight who didn't speak.
Mhm.
And later on, he had a voice.
Yeah.
Later on, he was like, "Hey, you came. I can't believe you came," or something like that. And I like how when he gets there, he's he's probably there on the 24th.
He makes
and
him
he waited
wait.
there. He
Yeah.
waited there for what, like a whole day,
Yeah.
an entire
Time-
day into,
time definitely passed.
from the middle of the day overnight till the
Yeah.
morning.
He started falling asleep. He was nodding his head off. It was like me, like
Did you-
driving home.
Oh, hey, that's familiar. But I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it, I did it too. It's dive. Man, you made me lose my train of thought. Oh, there's a part where it shows the Green Knight and his eyes like slightly open.
Yeah, and then
He's
he
like-
closes his eyes again.
Yeah, and I was like, what's going on? Why is it?
They were really milking the shit out of that.
Yeah,
and like
maybe-
I was like,
but
I was
I
at the
loved
edge.
that.
Yeah, I
I
was like,
loved that.
Fuck.
That was probably giving him time to make a run for it if he wanted to.
Yeah,
What if
like
what if he just cut his head off again and waited another year?
Just
he
keep
just
putting
went
it
up
off.
there and he's like, you know what? Let's try this. Real
I
quick.
think I would have given him like a little nudge or something, like, hey,
Hey.
hey man,
I'm here. Or maybe it's just like, hey man,
Yeah.
you have a little more time to enjoy your life right now.
hey dude, you got an outlet somewhere? I need to charge my phone, man.
Yeah.
What if
So-
it's like he gave him just here's more time, just enjoy whatever life you have left.
I don't know if you guys noticed this. I did not notice this, but I learned later on that at the end, when he's meeting with the Green Knight, the Green Knight's face morphs into
Yes.
all these
every
different
character.
characters' faces.
Yeah. I had to rewatch the scene
And
after I read
yeah,
that.
me too. I'm not sure what that means, but it's very
again,
interesting.
Morgana.
Yeah, I
There's
think
Morgana showing, and that was the last thing I was going to tie into Morgana, and I
Yeah.
forgot until you just said it. But
Okay.
that's again Morgana showing that she's in control of the entire test,
his entire
to let
journey.
you know, like, yo, I was all these people,
Yeah.
including the Green Knight.
I think I agree she was in control. I don't think she was in complete control because she collapsed when he cut his head off.
Yes.
Because like I don't think she expected that.
Yeah.
Maybe she was
And then she was like doing all this like damage control to fucking salvage the situation. She definitely wanted him to go on the journey.
Yeah.
didn't want to
but-
cut his head off.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh shit. I didn't
And
think about this one.
but it's weird because like she gave him the sash in
Yeah.
the tale. He gets the sash from the lady of the castle.
Right.
But his mom gives him the sash,
Yeah.
and his mom's like, "Listen, don't take this off. As long as you have this on, you won't get hurt."
Yeah.
But then like later on, it's almost as if she's like, you don't need the sash. Like it's kind of like she's not sure what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of backtracking that she does. Because like she says that, oh, like don't go across this river. You will surely meet your doom.
I think
He
it
said
says
something like
yeah.
courage.
he's like a wild he's an animal wild than me, as wild as me.
Okay.
He says words of he's an animal as wild as I. But you do not need to. I will speak to nobody, say nothing.
Okay, yeah,
As
yeah.
long if you go back, and you will, no one will know.
You're talking about when she's at the Fox.
Yeah, when he's
At
at
the
the
river.
the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fox tell him, don't go. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can just live with your shame and just
Yeah.
be you,
Yep.
right? And then that'd be that.
And it's surprising to me that he didn't accept that, because the proof is to the contrary. When he gets back, like when he's living his life, is he wants to live as a nobody, as like nobody knows who I am, and I hang out with my lady of the night, and
Yes.
I just do my own thing, right?
Mhm.
Like, hey, where have you been all night? Ah, I was at mass,
All night.
praying and taking in the sacrament.
Yeah.
So,
And she doesn't believe him, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
and so it's
Mass
like,
all night, huh?
why didn't you just accept that offer and say, you know what? Screw it, I can go do my own thing. But he didn't. He didn't accept it.
I think there is a part where he is on the track that his mom set for him, but then there are like one or two moments where like he kind of goes off the track and his mom is trying to like veer him back on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's very I feel like that part is very mixed. And I like that about the fact that the tale is cookie cutter, but the movie is not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And I could appreciate that.
Yeah, they did a very good job kind of making it its own
Yeah.
sort of modern
Yeah.
concept of the Green Knight tale.
They I really love the fucking visuals in this movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the best one would be the Giants.
The Giants was good.
Did we not talk about how Joel Egerton was the
We totally did
was
not
the
even.
Lord?
We didn't even.
We don't
mention-
talk about how
We
wait
didn't
wait,
even
wait a
mention
second.
him at all.
He's gay? Is he gay? Is that what
I
it
don't
was?
know what he
Or
is.
or maybe they just wanted to like show like, hey, give me a kiss, man.
Are you talking
that was
about
that's the
whatever
original
you get
tale.
in the castle,
Yeah.
you have to give to me?
Well-
so in the tale, that's how it works. Like
Right,
if
yeah.
you whatever,
Yeah, he gave a kiss one day.
yeah,
Right.
and he's supposed to reciprocate,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows again him failing because him failing another test because he hid the sash, right?
Yes.
And in the poem, I don't know if y'all covered this part, but
Mhm.
in the poem, it turns out that the Green Knight was actually that dude at the
Yeah.
castle.
I think in the movie, it's because the dude's eyes are really green.
Yeah,
Joel Egerton's eyes are they definitely like put that hint in there.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely in
he
there.
was the Green Knight, you're saying?
the Lord of the
tale.
house
In the
Yeah.
tale.
in the
tale.
tail was the Green Knight.
Yes.
Because then when the Green Knight goes to cut off his head in the tail, he goes, "Hey,
It's me.
it's me," and he's like,
Oh
shit."
man.
And he's like, "Yeah, I know you're wearing a sash." And then he makes him take it off, and then he nicks his neck, and he's like, "Go forth and live in shame." And then the knights accept him anyways.
Yeah, the knights don't care. They're like, hey, you're back.
Yeah.
Let's drink.
Hey, this guy, he decided not to chop my head off.
Hey, you're not
Oh, cool.
dead.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not lying to anybody. He's like, where's the shame in that? The guy didn't chop his head off. That was your choice. He
yeah,
came with
because
it.
he could go back and again fail the 5 virtues
Yes.
and say, "No, I got there," and he was like, "Yo, you actually showed. You passed the test. I'm not gonna kill you." And
Could've,
it's like
right?
the other knights are like, "What?" But the story, you know what?
His drink.
Welcome in, buddy. Here's a seat at the round table.
Yeah.
You know.
Um, we talked a lot about this.
We did.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Should we?
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap this up. So what we typically do is we just go around and give our personal take and like do a quick like out of 10 or like out of 5 or whatever, 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb down, whatever you want to do. You can give whatever thing, and we typically do an out of 10 thing, so we could like give a score for the entire podcast as a whole. Well, whatever you want to do, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But just give your take, and yeah, I'll go first since I picked the movie. So I really liked it. I thought the visuals were amazing. I thought the sound design was amazing. I love the script. I love how slow some of the dialogue is, and I love the slow pacing. But when I was watching it, it didn't feel slow because I was so glued to the screen. My eyes were glued to the screen with every fucking frame. And I thought everybody did a good job. Like Dev Patel, he has this way of like showing how like weak he is, but at the same time he can like turn on like a switch and you can see confidence like build up inside him. He has a great beard too. Great beard, great facial hair. Like I thought that was like a character in and of
10 out
itself.
of 10.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Some things threw me for a loop. There's some things that I wasn't sure, like the giants, a lot of the dream sequences. Like I'm typically not a fan of dream sequences. I wasn't really sure like what the fuck was going on with those.
Yeah, was he just tripping? He was just tripping that time, right? That wasn't
Maybe
actually
it was just the
mean,
mushrooms. It was probably just the
acid trip.
mushrooms.
I mean, in a world where
Yeah.
guys who can walk around have their heads chopped with their heads
Yeah.
chopped off.
I thought the special effects weren't that great, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no, you could tell that Fox is CGI.
Mhm.
Obviously, the giants are CGI.
Yeah.
Give him a break. It's in
The coloring, I love the coloring.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 9. This one's a 9 for me. There's very little I don't like about it. Very little. Yeah. We could go clockwise. Go with Murph.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, I'm really glad that that you came on the as a guest here, because without that like insight on the 5 virtues,
That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
my ideas would have been different. Like now that I understand that this is what they're doing in the writing, and this is what they wanted to go by, and a lot of times these aren't meant. They're not supposed to be super apparent.
Yeah.
But for those who actually put in the effort to really see that, and you did that obviously more than any of us here did.
I'm just a huge fan of Arthurian tales.
Which
I've
is,
known that for a long time.
which is good though, because without that knowledge, I would not have had a different perspective on it. So I will say, they're smart enough to put these ideals into the movie, as well as I love the cinematography, right? The effects itself, they're obviously they're spotty. It's an indie film,
Yeah.
right? Essentially, it's A24 is what they do, and they're gonna work with what they got. But even then, there's some other things about it. The acting was good. The acting was good. I liked it a lot. The story, obviously, with the 5 virtues, putting that if that is not what they're going for, and somehow it's just some Hail Mary shot, or this is exactly how it worked out, it was just coincidental. I
There's
doubt,
no
I doubt
way.
it. I doubt
There's
it.
no way. It had to have been
It's
that.
doubtful, of course. No, absolutely. That's exactly what we're going for. So
Yeah.
me, just writing alone, without anything else, I would want to give it like a 9. Like, anything else, whatever, doesn't matter. The writing alone is what really gets me. That's like one of the 3 things of a good movie: is either good writing, good acting, good soundtrack. If we have all 3 of those,
Camera
things,
work. Camera work.
Camera work.
Okay, fine. No soundtrack. Then we'll do the camera work. But just in general, 3 out of 4 things there. You're gonna have a good movie.
I would say it's 4.
In the
For
soundtrack,
me, yeah. Because soundtrack's important too.
they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Think how powerful the Black Panther soundtrack was.
It's very powerful.
That's one of my favorite soundtracks.
It's a good album.
Impressive.
Good full album there too.
Yeah.
But you add all that, then you're gonna have a good movie, and that's what they did. So yeah, I want to give it a 9 myself as well.
Yeah, for me, so again, huge fan of Arthurian tales, and I thought that they did very good in the fact that it is a darker tale,
Yeah.
and they used darker themes the entire movie, with the exception of his yellow tunic that he was wearing for part of it.
When he started out.
Beginning.
Right when he started out, and I thought that was great because it kind of symbolized his leaving on the journey, and he failed the first virtue, and then they took away his bright clothing because
Oh,
he failed,
yeah.
right?
Strip him.
So I thought that was really great visually. The story was great up until the end.
Okay.
I want to see what the director thought. I want to see a head roll. I want to see
Yeah.
a nick, right?
Okay.
Especially with it being A24 Studios, right? A24 in my eyes has solidified themselves as a horror
Yes.
movie
Yeah.
production
Off
studio.
the beat horror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some great stuff coming out of A24 Studios.
Yeah.
But I want the author to be like, no, this is an end. You know,
Okay.
so you know, because in the tale, you know,
Yep.
at the end of the Green Knight poem. So for that, just that end for me, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, just because I'd want it to be finalized.
Sounds
So
good.
you don't want it up for interpretation.
Right.
You want it to be interpreted for you.
Yeah.
I agree. I get that.
So my initial thought, from watching it the first time, to be honest, I thought it was boring.
Mhm.
I didn't get it. I thought it was really well shot. Like we've already discussed that, and I don't know. I just couldn't see myself getting into it. And then I read the story.
Yeah.
I read a couple different versions of the story, watched a couple YouTube videos about his tale, and then I rewatched it. Really good. Really good. I got the story. I was totally into everything. CGI we talked about was a little spotty here and there. First run of it, I would probably give it about a 7.
Okay.
And then second run, because of the ending, I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, now like reading this tale, like,
Mhm.
well, not that like I don't know what's gonna happen, but how's it gonna happen?
Yeah.
So I'd give it an 8 as well.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. I think Murph's doing the math right now.
Jeez. 9,
2 8s and 2 9s, so it's probably 8.5.
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah,
So
between
I
burn.
think the Brenefix
Don't worry, the
Burn
A
Flex
ganger will
cool.
tell you the math.
Oh, God,
8.5 for the Green Knight. Great.
I think that's actually a good score to give.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
I think it's on par, or at least like just in like a visual as the Batman that came out.
So for our next flick, I believe Murph has the next flick.
Yeah. So I obviously I got some stuff we're taking care of. We're probably gonna do this again in about a week or two. We got some stuff. We're all doing some things for these coming weeks.
Keep our schedule in flux.
Yeah. So my original idea was I wanted to do Manchester by the Sea because it's like a movie that
All
pretty
right.
much, critics said that, hey, Casey Affleck's, he's entered in, the realm of giants when it comes to actors. He shows whatever. And I hear that that's a really good movie. I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but apparently
I've seen
it's
it.
done really good. It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
It was really good acting. But I thought about, hey, you know what? A movie I've been waiting to see since December
Yeah.
was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the Nick Cage movie.
Yes.
And just to add another movie right there is to
I'm
add
really
to the
excited
Cage
for that movie.
sons.
The Cage Sons. Yeah.
Yes. God,
And
yes.
It needs to be seen. And unfortunately, I'm really upset to say this, but
Yeah.
I really feel I might be let down. I'm not sure.
I don't think Nick Cage can ever let me down.
I
baby.
can't let
I
you
think-
down, though. The only
Yeah.
movie that he's let me down in, and it wasn't that bad, was Knowing. And that movie, it wasn't even that bad.
Still didn't even let me down. It's just
he
Nick
did-
Cage.
You just
can't-
need a scene with him yelling,
Yeah.
and that'll redeem the whole
Oh
thing.
my God,
Yeah.
the Mandy yell in the bathroom in
Have
Mandy.
you
You've
seen
it?
Mandy?
Yeah.
Ah!
What about? I mean, have you
Yeah.
seen the history of swearing?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's
No, I
Netflix.
haven't seen that. What's that?
Oh my God!
Is this still
You
on
need to watch
Netflix? I'm rewatching
It's
that.
it's Nicolas Cage, and he's talking about the history of swear words like fuck. And
Is it a
bitch and-
documentary?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what the?
It's awesome.
Oh wow,
It's good.
Okay.
History of swearing.
Anything Nick
All right.
Cage does.
Like he literally starts it out by going, "Fuck," and it's like this long, drawn out. Oh man, it's great. Oh, it's great.
It was pretty good. I like that.
Wow.
Never mind. Nothing he does is bad.
All right, well,
because
let's
it
let's
can't
not
be
go too crazy here.
No,
all
it
right?
can't be
He
bad.
He has had some bad ones. He's had some bad ones. Like
No.
there was that Navy movie he did.
Oh, Indianapolis.
Yeah, and then like
That's not his fault though.
I I haven't seen Ghost Rider, but
Was
I,
Ghost
I,
Rider-
awful.
I heard it was garbage.
Who directed Ghost Rider? That was I can't think about it. I want to look it up
Bees, not the bees. What Wicker
right now.
Man?
Oh, the Wicker Man.
Oh,
I mean, there's redeeming like irony like value to that movie.
Yeah.
But like
Those movies are like leftover food. The leftovers in your fridge. You know what?
They've
I'm
been
hungry right now.
they've
That's all I
honestly-
got is these Nick Cage movies. I'm gonna watch them.
some of those movies are like been back there in the fridge for a while though.
They got a
should
little
you
bit.
trust it?
Put them in the oven. Let it simmer for a
This
little
might
bit.
hit the spot, or it might just make me vomit.
if I cut off this little sliver where all this green shit's growing from, maybe it'll be a good.
Put some Texas Pete and some salt. We'll call it a day.
Texas Pete, that's disinfecting, right? Should be good.
Right?
Yeah, it's probably good.
So anyway, I guess
Yeah.
Guess we're good here.
What's the title again?
the title will be the unbearable weight of massive talent.
All right, sounds good.
And that'll be it.
And we don't know when that'll be, but when it is, we'll let you guys know.
Flick. 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 Flick.